Hi, thought I'd do another inbox review. This is a kit I picked up actually a while ago, got it at a really good price. I think I got it for around about 30 quid, which for a HobbyBoss 148 scale A-6E Intruder, I think it's pretty good. Quite a big box, as you can see. It's taken up pretty much most of the screen. Again, you know, we've got some quite nice artwork on the front there. Kit number is 81709. Bit of information on the side here. Decals. Oh, sorry, bring that over. We've got the decals, a little bit of photo etch. Obviously here there's some instrument panel decals, which looks good, and that's one of the versions you can build. I don't know if it's the only one. No, it looks like there's an all grey, slightly boring version, but I'm sure with a bit of weathering you could make it a bit more interesting. And we've got various bits of bobs on the side here, nothing really that interesting. So let's crack the box open again. HobbyBoss, it's a good sturdy box, which is nice. I'm just going to grab these bits first, the loose parts. What we've got, instructions. We've got a bit of Gumpf models coming March 2014, but it gives you some idea how old the kit mould is. I think it's only a couple of years, probably not even that maybe. Yep, the usual stuff really, just a bit of advertising. We've then got the two colour options here. So we've got here a US Navy, a VA-34 blue blaster of the USS John F. Kennedy. Obviously this is probably a fairly standard light gold grey, I'd imagine. Just seeing if it really, it's slightly confusing their colouring sometimes here. So we've got F underneath. I have no idea. That says burnt iron. Oh, I see, that's for that little exhaust pipe there. White, I would imagine, by the looks of things underneath. Yeah, it's a G is your white. Yeah, H is your light gold grey, so fairly standard scheme there. Reasonable, interesting. You know, you've got some decals, nice decals looking here, and then we've got the all sort of grey, sort of dark compass grey by the looks of things, and one that just says grey. That's our A, yeah, A, and I don't know what the other grey is. It's not overly clear, but there we go. Oh, B, yeah, so we've basically got like dark compass grey and grey, really useful. But they're all in Mr. Hobby, but we have got some actual variations which is nice on this one. We've got Mr. Hobby, Vallejo, although Vallejo doesn't seem to cover all the colours, Model Master, Tamiya, and Humble. So we've got a bit of variety there, which is good. Which is nice here with the HobbyBoss kit is we've got a full colour call out for all the weapons, tanks, and again all the decal placements, which is really nice, easy, clear guide. So that's handy. And then we've got the instruction book. It's a proper booklet, which is nice. Really all we've got on the front here is a bit of information about tools recommended, obviously a guide to the symbols, and a method for applying the decals. I'll just bring this in a little bit. Considering it's such a big kit, the actual instruction book is quite small. Sprue call out, which is always handy. Shows you the parts, shows you the unused parts here, which is good. And we crack straight on with the cockpit, unsurprisingly. Looks nicely detailed. We've got a couple of nice looking seats, the main cockpit tub, and various bits and bobs going on here. Should build up quite nicely out of the box. We then go on to all the undercarriage, nose, main, nose carriage. Sorry, get my words right in a minute. Everything there. Then we go on to the main fuselage going together. Obviously the bits on the side for the engines and the intakes. The cockpit going in. Various bits and bobs here for the front nose. fact, it actually tells you what the parts are, which is probably quite handy. Radar, and we're going the front there, and then everything bolting together. Together there. The wings, more wings going together. Looks like we've got there's a fold option on these. It looks like there is. Again, there's all the wing parts, quite detailed, going together there. And yes, we've got the option for folded wings, which is nice. So you can have them up or down, whichever, or one up, one down, whatever you want to do. Various little bits and bobs going on. Obviously there's paint guide as you go along here as well, which is nice. Then we've got the canopy, clear parts going on here, and the nose. Again, that can be shown open, so you can show off the radar equipment inside. What's quite nice, obviously we've got the folding out steps for the pilots, both sides, if you want to show them out, which is quite good. Refueling probe on the front there. And then various bits. Obviously this I think the 132nd version you get a full engine, but on the 148 you don't. So that's pretty just buttoning that up there at the end. Various, and your pylons go on and your weapons call out. So pretty straightforward stuff. The weapons call out on the back there. So that's quite good. All separately packed. I think we're going to start here with the main fuselage parts. It's been scuffed around in the box a bit, but hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue. Okay, so the main fuselage. I don't know how well you can see that, but some nice fine riveting, fine recessed panel lines. The rivets are nice, that's all good, there's plenty of detail, it's crisp, quite sharp, nice. There's no flash. Nice, very detailed. There is some injection pin marks which might be in the places you wouldn't want them, that will need filling, unfortunately, but that all looks good. Some of the wing parts, the first stage before the fold by the looks of things. Again, very fine riveting here. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up, but it is really good. There you go. Hopefully you can see it there. Nice, nicely detailed. We've got lots of piping around here, hydraulic pipes and stuff for the actual undercarriage bays, which is good. Nice. Looks good, very detailed. Again, we've got no flash. Parts are all crisp. Good. There's an awful lot of bits and pieces here. Let's concentrate on the main parts first. Again, we've got more bits and bobs here. Again, it's all got this very fine riveting, very, very nice. It all looks crisp and clean. There's no real flash or anything horrible on there. Again, you should be able to hopefully pick up some of the riveting detail on their camera there. It's all good. That's nice. Another good clean part. It's all nice that they're separately bagged. Here we've got some of the cockpit parts. Yeah, nice. You've got a lovely cockpit tub there. Should be able to paint that and detail that up quite nicely. Various bits here, all quite nicely detailed. This is mostly the landing gear bits and bobs. A few bits and pieces again for the actual cockpit. Again, it's all clean. There doesn't seem to be any horrible flash that I can see on there. That's all nice. That's good. box. Here we've got parts. Various bits and bobs here again. The sort of intakes. Again, they're all nice and clear, clean. And we have got injection pin marks that will need a bit of tidying up here. Although I suspect you won't really see a lot of them once the kit's all together, buttoned up. But they're not too deep, so it shouldn't need too much tidying up there. Again, nice clean sprue, no flash on there. We've got two lots of weapons. I'll just open one of them. One of them basically is your tanks and bits and bobs here. A few missiles and bits in there. And the same on this one. Well, that's actually relatively open one of these. We can take a look. Sorry, slight interruption there. So then we've got the kit parts here. So we've got various missiles, bombs, etc. Again, there's a little bit of flash on some of these, actually, well, if you can call it that. But generally the level of detail is quite good. It's all recessed and so on. I mean, I suspect there'll be aftermarket resin options out there which will be better, but you know, for the kit parts they're pretty good, they're clean. I don't think you'll have too much problem there, because that's actually two parts of the same. Again, we've got two of the same here. I'll have a quick look. I'll leave one in the bag. Yeah, they're fuel tanks really. Not that exciting, but again we've got recessed panel lines. They're all clean, reasonably well detailed. Should go together without too much of a problem. And then we've got a few more bags of various little odds and sods here. So we've got this one. Okay, so we've got two instrument panels. There is a slight difference between the two, but the detail is fantastic for a kit part. Sorry, camera, focus in on that for us. This one is slightly different, so there's obviously two variants. And you've got your nose. Again, they're lovely and clean, but as I say, the quality is brilliant. Now that's fantastic. I don't think you need to invest in a resin cockpit, and if you're good at painting, you probably wouldn't even need to worry about colour photo etch. There's such a detailed instrument panel there. Nice. And then really what we've got left is a variety of various bits and bobs here. Let's have a look at this one. This one's got your injection seat in here. I think these are basically two parts that are the same by the looks of things. Although we've lost a piece, there's a piece that's come adrift there, so put that back in the bag. Put that back in the bag for a second. So we've got wheels there, no weight on wheels, which is slightly disappointing. Injection seat looks reasonably good for a, again I don't know how well you're going to pick that up, but it's quite well for a kit, quite detailed for a kit part again. Various little bits and bobs, again they're all clean, they're all sharp, no real dramas there. Just so you can see them in detail a bit more hopefully. Nice, looks good. That doesn't want to go back in the bag. The last main part, the sprue parts. We've got a few other bits in the box, but this is the next main part. Various bits and bobs. Obviously we've got sort of what looks to be the front wheel well. Various little bits of detail there. Again, you know, it's all nice nice clean. The detail on these parts is really good, very crisp, sharp. No problems with flash or anything horrible there. There's some lovely detail in these smaller parts here. Again, I'm not sure whether the camera wants to pick those up, but it all looks good. Put it down there, and then I'll gather up the last bits and pieces here. Okay, well, one thing that's great here, which I've just seen, which I didn't notice before, is we've got some metal parts for the landing gear. I'm not going to get them out of the box, they're metal. I think the actual plastic goes round them. We probably should have checked the instructions, but I have a suspicion that's what happens. But it gives you some great strength to your wheels. And we've got various bits here. These are the tiny clear parts. I'm not going to get them out, there's not really much point. They're just little various lenses, bits and bobs in there. These are all nicely protected, which is great, particularly as it's going to be quite a large canopy piece. Again, that's fantastic, ever so clear, very little distortion when you're looking through the glass or the plastic in this case. In fact, there's almost none. It's brilliant, really, really good. Beautifully clear, that piece. And then let's look at this piece. This must be the rear part. Quite, yeah, it's a big piece of canopy. It's certainly, you know, even if with the canopy closed, you're going to see quite a lot of the detail in the cockpit. So it's certainly worth making an effort to really make that cockpit, you know, paint that cockpit well and make it look good. Sorry, not the best bit of focus there, but it's very shiny, very clear, very little distortion. It's quite thin, which is nice. No, that's brilliant bit of glass work. That should look really good. So I'm just going to try and wrap this back round because I'd hate to get them scratched. Put those carefully back in quickly. I'll do that bit in a minute. We've then got a bit of photo etch. We'll quickly open that up if we can. Take a quick look at that. They cover it in a sort of film. I'm not going to take that off, I'll leave that on for the minute. You've got some belts and a few little bits and pieces there. It's, you know, it's not quite Edard, it's a bit thicker, but I'm sure it'll do the job. That's good. And then last of all, we've got the decal sheets here. I'm not going to open all these little fiddly bits, but we'll just look at the main decal sheet itself. It's nice, they come in their own separate bag, which is always good, so they're well protected. And they've got a cover. Now, what can I say? They're very glossy. They seem to have a kind of film almost over them. I can't quite describe it. I'm sure it'll come out once you've soaked them. You know, they're not cartograph quality, but they all look, you know, they're in register, they're nice. Normally, I've done a few HobbyBoss kits, I've had no real problems with the actual decals, the way they performed. And it all looks quite nicely. Even you can read the nose step, etc. So they're not bad, but yeah, I don't know if the camera can't pick it up. They're covered in this like film, which is a bit weird. We've then got some more bits for the fuel tanks and the various bombs, missiles, etc. Quite interesting. Got some little skulls there. It's quite nice. There's over there. Now I thought, interestingly, that there was some. The box kind of indicated there was perhaps some decals for the instrument panels, but I can't see them. Let's just see if they are in these small parts. But it doesn't look like it to me. These look like some sort of additional decal. I'm not going to get the tape, but that's just some navy additional decals. It's almost like they've an afterthought, they needed those. And we've got one here which is just some extra walkway decals. Not quite sure. I think probably they've been misprinted maybe on the original sheet. Not quite sure there. They basically just say, hang on, let's get those out quickly. Yeah, they put sellotape, but they basically say walkway. 33, 43. Yeah, I think there's been a bit of a error because number 43 quite clearly is something completely different on here. Somebody may be able to answer that question, but I suspect they've been misprinted and these are just to replace them probably. But that's pretty much it. Strangely enough, as I say, the box art would indicate, looks like there should be some decals for the instruments, but unless I've gone mad, I can't find them or see them. But never mind. As I say, they're quite detailed, so you might want to make the effort to try and paint them anyway, rather than try to use decals. Alright, cool. Well, I hope that helps. Looks like a lovely kit. Looking forward to building it. Hope to see you again soon.